Hello, everybody. Michael Treon from Insurance Agency Automation Associates here. Another short little video on an AMS360 tip or trick that helps agencies. Today's topic is about submissions, not commercial submissions, but the old classic, if you want to call it that, submissions. We forget that we can attach documents inside the eForms tree of a submission. And there's some very good benefits that we'll talk about in this video about doing that. I'm sure when you view this video, say, oh, I know how to do that. Why am I not using it over there? Because we do attach documents in the eForm tree of certificates every day. I know that you'll find this beneficial and useful. I look forward to you giving me feedback on it. Thank you. Okay, so here we are. We're in our submission. We're looking at our eForms tree for the applications for this client that we created, okay? We have a commercial information section. We have a property section. We have a commercial general liability section. We have an auto section. What we're going to talk about here is how you attach items in the eForm tree to the submission so that you don't have to go searching for them later should you have a call. We do this already inside of certificates very frequently, and people forget that you can do this anytime you're in eForms. We're going to come up here. First concept is we might have some loss runs, we might have some description operations, we might have driver's list, maybe driver training, maybe vehicle safety information, photos of the plot, of the location, plot plan, things like that. So depending on the documents we have is where we make the attachment at. So I'm going to click on the commercial lines or commercial insurance application. I'm going to right click and hit attachments. So now there's two different ways we can get these things in here. Off screen, I have a couple of the items off screen. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those and drag them in here. Now again, I'm keeping my mind on where the items are, where I want them into the system. So I'm going to drag them in. There they are. If you've ever heard me talk about documents before, I'm a hardcore fool for doc typing and for description, but I don't really care about the file name. This is an exception. Here I want the file name because that's what's going to display in the tree. Okay, I could doc type these at this point. I'm not quite yet. I'm going to keep a little focus. Now you saw me drag in. I could have gone to attach file and detailed through the file for that. Okay, so I'm going to say okay to that. So I'm going to come down to the commercial auto, the business auto section. I'm going to right click and say attachment. And then this time I'm going to say attach to Doc360 file. I did that at the auto section because I know I already have some documents in here for the auto. So I want to demonstrate both ways. I'm going to take that policy number out of there and hit find because I want to broaden it out. This is a training customer, so sometimes there's not much in here. Okay, so there's my documents. I'm looking for the driver's list. There they are. I'm going to select them. The other ones I already have there because I did that earlier. And I'm going to say OK. There they are. Again, I'm going to view them. If I did need to change the file name, let's go ahead and do that now. Double click here, change the file name. Just remember you can't have any slashes or dashes there, the things that you can't normally do. So I'm going to go ahead and just say OK to that. Update. And then say OK to that. And again, I can see now that I have my driver's list here at the auto section. I have my information there, and then I got one more file I want to put in at the property section. So I'm going to right click attachments, and I'm going to drag that in that particular one as a plot plan. There it goes. So I'm going to say OK, and there I have them. The reason the file name is important because that's what displays here. So if I click on it, it won't show up here. If I double click on it, it will open up in the native format, and I'll drag that over, and it's just a blank document. It says this is a policy, just something a template file I have available. Okay, so that's the basics of that. So getting those items in there. If I got something in the wrong place, I can move it around, but I can't move it around easily. I basically have to go attachments. Maybe I wanted that plot plan up at the other end. So if I'm hovering over that, notice it's not letting me click anything. I got to be at the application center section, not the document section. So I can go over here and say attachments. So here I can delete it from here, delete, and say OK. I'm going to say no in this case, and then go back and say OK, and then go back and add it back to the proper section. No easy way to move it between items. Okay, so say OK there. Now I'm going to save and close this. Just a reminder that if I need, when I'm sending this application out to the markets, I'm going to act like I'm gathering these documents up. That's another advantage of them. I'm attaching them to the right place in the eForm tree as I'm going through the process, in the collection process. I'm ready to send my application out, so I went back to the submissions, just so you can see how I do that. View, submissions. I would then click here and get into it. I actually have it open already. And then I go into my submission here. I don't need to go in here and change anything on my application, so I'm going to say, I'm going to come to Operation eForms Manager, and it brings me back to that application information. Just remember that when I'm going to send this application out to market, I'll act like I'm going to email it here. Click on the email link. This is very important. When you hear me, if you've ever done any training with me on any eForms, I say always hit Form, Overflow, and Attachments. Then I'll select the other applications. The reason is that's how we get the attachments out there. And I would click email. I'm not going to actually email this out. Just want to talk about the concepts here. So I'll close that. Go ahead and close that again. I'll close this. Now, days, weeks, months, whatever goes by, and well, hopefully not months. An underwriter calls me and says, "Hey, Michael, I want to talk about that submission." So for me to go back and look at the submission, I don't have to look for the outbound email in my outbox, my sent items. I don't have to look for all the various documents inside, including attachments, all the various documents, including attachments, in my activities or my documents inside. I just come to my submissions view, and I click open that submission, and then I come over to eForms, and then I come down to the submission. And this is the big ticket item and why this is important. Now I see everything I sent to that underwriter. This would be under my master. This is not a deep dive into submissions. If you want to do that, contact me. I have a 2-hour time frame on that, and I love doing submissions. It's a big driver for me, doing some full submission training and talking about this in greater detail. But I'm able to look at the whole thing. Now, if I had done this as a full submission, I would have my master, which would be this one. I'd also have individual submissions out to the markets that I went to. I would not duplicate my applications in those market submissions, only my master. But I might put in the eForms tree documents and items that were sent only to that market, like their own supplemental. So I could do that as I went along. So if I need to look at it, I just come here, look at the, they said, let's look at that loss run. I can look at the loss runs here. Now, of course, I got to double click and open. It's a PDF document. It's just nothing real. But that's the bottom line of why this is a very valuable tool to have. So that's it for this one. I hope it was beneficial to you, and I look forward to the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd like to ask you to do a couple of favors. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to ask you a favor. Be sure to go to the web page. Be sure to visit the web page for insurance automation. It's ins-automation.com, and browse around there. Now, at the time of this recording, it's still in the old format, but within the next couple months it's going to change formats, but the information is still the same. Resources for agencies is a nice place to visit. It shows you some information about some third-party services. Contacts is good as well, because included there is a way to book a consultation meeting with me, the 30 or 60-minute meeting. Click that and it'll take you to my calendar. You can peruse around the other places. The other things I'd like you to do is go to the newsletter setup if you're not already a member. Click that link, and then it'll bring you there and answer the questions here, and you'll be automatically subscribed to the newsletter. And then finally, up here there's a YouTube video, or you can just come to YouTube and search for Insurance Agency Automation, look for that little triangle there, and subscribe to the page. The way you subscribe is you click the notifications right here, click that, whoops, wrong one. So be sure to subscribe so you get all the notifications and new additions. Hit the button over here that says subscribe. Hit it one more time, that little bell, and say all. So when you have a darkened in or a lightened in bell, depending on how you're looking at it, that means that when I make updates to the page and add videos, you get a notification. There's a lot of videos here already, and there'll be more added every month in the next couple. There are a lot of videos here already, and there'll be some more added in the next coming months. There's a lot of videos here already, and we'll be adding more every month going forward. Be sure to tell your friends as well so they can subscribe and get notifications. Thank you.